Last week on the top five from the big five, we said in the EPL, Chelsea was going to defeat Leicester City. We said one draw, no bet, and Chelsea did not disappoint. In that game, we saw Cole Palmer missing a penalty. Prior to that penalty kick, he has taken 12 out of 12 and scored them all. Yes, there's always a time for disappointment, and the man was disappointed. He needs to find his form. He needs to find his form because it coincides with Chelsea's downfall right now. In the Serie A, we said Inter Milan were going to defeat Monza. In that game, at a point in time, Inter Milan were 2 goals down, but they came back to defeat Monza by 3 goals to 2. We also picked one draw, no bets in that encounter. In La Liga, Real Betis defeating Las Palmas by a goal to 0. We did say Real Betis should be too strong for Las Palmas, and yes, they were. We picked one draw, no bet in that one. In League One, we said Marseille were going to at least get something over Lens. That game ended with a defeat. Lens defeating Marseille by a goal to 0. In the Bundesliga last weekend, we saw Werder Bremen going to Leverkusen and defeating Leverkusen by 2 goals to 0. Leverkusen, I don't know, probably they had one eye on the Champions League tie against Bayern Munich. Remember, they lost the first leg by 3 goals to 0. And I felt that after losing the first leg by 3 goals to 0, they will consider that tie over and done with, and we want to concentrate on the Bundesliga, but that was not to be the case. They were defeated by Werder Bremen at home 2 goals to 0. So we got 3 out of 5 for me. That's a massive failure. So this week we hope to redeem ourselves, so stay tuned for the top 5 from the big 5 for this week. But we're moving on straight to the NBA. And in the NBA this Saturday weekend, we're going to see Miami Heat taking on the Boston Celtics. I always keep reiterating that the Boston Celtics are the defending NBA champions, and right now they are the team to beat. Philadelphia 76ers will be taking on the Indiana Pacers. Atlanta Hawks will be up against the LA Clippers. Houston Rockets will be taking on the Dallas Mavericks. Memphis Grizzlies will be up against the Cleveland Cavs. Yes, Cleveland Cavaliers. Remember, they have already qualified for the playoffs. And Minnesota Timberwolves will be taking on the Orlando Magic. San Antonio Spurs will be up against the Charlotte Hornets. We're going to see Denver Nuggets taking on the Lakers. Utah Jazz up against Toronto Raptors. Lastly, we're going to see the Phoenix Suns taking on the Sacramento Kings. Denver Nuggets will be up against the LA Lakers, like we rightly said. Remember that LeBron James will not be playing in this encounter, but then there are a lot of conspiracy theories making the rounds. People keep claiming that at this point in time in the last 5 seasons, LeBron James has been injured. Is he feigning injury, or does the man actually does get injured in the month of March? What are we saying here? Remember that the playoffs will soon be coming up, and everybody believes that what LeBron James does this period, yes, the man is old. Do not forget that we're talking old in terms of sports. Probably he just takes a breather to like recoup some strength and get ready for the playoffs. Is that what is really happening here, or is LeBron James always getting injured in the month of March? Go to our YouTube page and drop us a comment. Tell us what you think. Does the man feign injuries at this point in time, or does he really get injured? Did you see the last game where he got injured? Was he feigning that injury, or was the man seriously injured? But it remains to be seen. Only him can tell us what is actually going on. And now we're moving over to the world of football. Yes, we're talking Champions League right now. Yes, loads of Champions League games were played, and we'll give you a rundown of the results and those who have qualified for the quarterfinals. Champions League games were played midweek gone by. Yes, midweek gone by, Champions League games were played, and we saw Aston Villa defeating Club Brugge by 3 goals to 0. Atletico Madrid defeated Real Madrid by a goal to 0. Real Madrid shouldn't have lost that encounter because we saw Kylian Mbappe at his very best taking on the defenders and drawing up a foul. Yes, a penalty kick was given, and Vinicius Jr. threw that one away. Yes, but he practically threw it away because he sent it to the skies, and he was lucky because the game ended 4-2 on penalties in favor of Real Madrid. I did say, yes, anybody who listened to me on this program or anywhere else will remember that I said Real Madrid will qualify from that encounter. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I know they were experienced enough to qualify, and yes, they did just that. They defeated Atletico Madrid 4-2 on penalties. Arsenal took on PSV. I stayed away from that game because I felt Arsenal after the first leg. Yes, remember they won the first leg by 7 goals to 1. I felt that game was done and done, and Arsenal did not disappoint. Yes, at the time we even felt that PSV might even take the victory in England, but yes, Arsenal remained a formidable force, and they played out a 2-2 draw with PSV. Yes, PSV. I know lots of betting fans would have been disappointed with that result, but then again, what were you expecting? Arsenal needed to rest 1 or 2 and take their foot off the pedal because they are taking on Chelsea this weekend. So definitely they did not need to fire on all cylinders against PSV. Lille at home to Borussia Dortmund. Yes, remember in the first leg they played out a 1-1 draw. And moving over to France, loads of people were expecting Lille to be able to demolish Dortmund. It didn't happen. They lost at home to Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund defeating them by 2 goals to 1. Inter Milan took on Feyenoord and the game ended 2-1. Yes, I did predict that Inter, after going to Holland and defeating Feyenoord by 2 goals to 0, they will still defeat Feyenoord, and they did not disappoint. Yes, on the night we saw Feyenoord come back from a goal down with a penalty. It's a very needless penalty that was considered by Akan. Yes, I do not know what Akan was thinking at that point because the man was practically going nowhere, but he stepped on him and considered that penalty. But Inter came back with a penalty of their own and defeating Feyenoord by 2 goals to 1. I told everybody who cared to listen that Inter Milan were not AC Milan and would not falter here, and they did not do that. Leverkusen, after losing the first leg 3 goals to 0, also lost the second leg by 2 goals to 0. Remember, they lost at home to Werder Bremen in the Bundesliga, and we all felt probably they were thinking of performing a miracle in the return fixture of the Champions League, but well, it wasn't to be because Bayern still ended up defeating them by 2 goals to 0, and Leverkusen lost on aggregate 5-0. PSG, yes, PSG lost the first leg to Liverpool 1 goal to 0. Came to England at Anfield and defeating Liverpool by 8 goals to 0. So after extra time, yes, PSG defeated Liverpool via penalties and made it to the quarterfinals. Congratulations to PSG. Yes, last couple of seasons they have not made the quarterfinals, but they have done that this year. They have a fantastic squad, and Luis Enrique is doing big things with his words, and I want to believe that they will be a tough nut to crack. Anybody who wants to be Champions League winners come the end of this season will need to be able to defeat PSG, but that will be a very, very tough ask. And lastly, we saw Barca taking on Benfica. Yes, Benfica did. Barcelona defeating Benfica in the first leg, even with a man down by 1 goal to 0. So I want to believe that nobody expected Barca to lose this one, and yes, they did not disappoint. They defeated Benfica by 3 goals to 1. And when we come back, we're going to be looking at the top 5 leagues in Europe. Welcome back. We're moving over straight to Europe. We are in the EPL. Nottingham Forest last week defeating Manchester City by 1 goal to 0. I felt Manchester City were a resurgent side and they were going to get something in that encounter, but lo and behold, Nottingham Forest defeated them to keep their second place hopes alive. Yes, we know they cannot win the league because runaway leaders Liverpool are too far ahead, but then they can still catch up with Arsenal. And Brighton took on Fulham. Brighton defeating Fulham by 2 goals to 1. Crystal Palace defeating Ipswich by 1 goal to 0. Liverpool defeating Southampton 3 goals to 1. Yes, all practically promoted teams from the Championship all lost last weekend. We're talking Leicester, we're talking Ipswich and Southampton. The gap between the Premier League and Champions League seems to be too wide because 3 teams who always come up always seem to go down, and it's not looking likely, it's not looking fun. We want to see teams from the Championship come up and compete in the Premier League, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Crystal Palace defeating Ipswich by 1 goal to 0. Liverpool defeating Southampton by 3 goals to 1. Brentford lost at home to Aston Villa. Aston Villa, since the arrival of Marcus Rashford and Asensio, not even forgetting Daniel Millen, have been doing fantastically well in the English Premier League. They were looking like a team with a loss of form, but they have found their feet, and right now They are slowly climbing up the ladder. Yes, Aston Villa went to Brentford and defeating them by 1-0. Chelsea defeated Leicester 1-0. Yes, we did say Chelsea we are going to defeat Leicester. That was never in doubt. Tottenham Hotspur played out a 2-2 draw with Bournemouth. At a point in that game, Bournemouth were up 2-0, and I want to believe that their manager did not do right by Bournemouth because he could have managed that game better. He did not do so, and Spurs came back into it, and the game ended 2-2. Manchester United played out a 1-1 draw with Arsenal. Loads of people felt that Arsenal were in the form of their lives, and Manchester are not. So that game should have ended in favor of Arsenal. But Arsenal are still lacking a prolific striker and a left winger. They need a left winger and a striker in that team. Every time you look at the Arsenal squad, you always believe that they are a player or two short. Next season, there will still be a player or two short, even if they do sign the striker they need and the left winger. I don't know what is always wrong with Arsenal. They end up probably either not signing the right profile or losing one or two of the team that would have been able to compete for the league, and they end up coming short. Hopefully, Arsenal gets this right this summer and will be able to put up a bigger fight in the EPL Cup next season. West Ham on Monday lost to Newcastle by 1-0. This week we're going to see Everton. Yes, Everton taking on West Ham this weekend. Ipswich will be up against Nottingham Forest. Manchester City will be taking on Brighton. Bournemouth will be up against Brentford. Arsenal will be taking on Chelsea. Yes, that's the big one for the English Premier League this weekend. We're going to see Arsenal taking on Chelsea. Definitely, Chelsea needs the result to climb up the ladder. Arsenal wants to solidify their place in second. Who takes this one? It's going to be a very dicey one. Arsenal needs their midfielders to come to the fore because, yes, where will the goals come from if not by the midfield? Arsenal, for me, should be able to get a result, a win or a draw for Arsenal in this encounter. Fulham will be taking on Tottenham. Yes, Fulham-Tottenham, that's a very big one. A London derby, as you know. Leicester City will be taking on Manchester United, and I think Manchester United will be licking their lips because, yes, they need a victory from somewhere, and hopefully this will be where they get it. Now we're moving over straight to the La Liga. Yes, in the La Liga, we're going to see Villarreal taking on Real Madrid. Real Madrid will be boosted by their victory against Atletico, though by penalties. Sevilla will be up against Atletico Bilbao. Sevilla now are also slowly climbing up the ladder, finding a bit of form. So it will not be an easy encounter for Atletico Bilbao, but Bilbao too have one or two, the Williams brothers, in their mix, and definitely they too will want to prove them mettle. And I want to believe that this game looks like a draw for me. Atletico Madrid will be taking on Barcelona. Atletico will be reeling from that Champions League knockout defeat to Real Madrid, and we want to prove a point against Barcelona. But Barcelona in the La Liga this season is proving too strong, and we want to hold on to first position. Leganés will be up against Real Betis. I want to believe that Real Betis should be able to get a win or a draw in this one. Girona will be up against Valencia. Like I keep saying, Girona is not the team that we used to know them to be from last season. Valencia should be able to get a win or a draw away. Valladolid will be taking on Celta Vigo, and that is evenly poised, but trust me, Celta Vigo will score in this one. They cannot just stop scoring. They might not get the desired results, but they always find a way to get to the goal post and find the back of the net. Last week we saw Barca's game with Osasuna postponed. Getafe defeating Atletico by 2-1. Atletico were cruising at some point, and at the dying embers of that game, we saw Joaquin Correa got himself sent off, and after getting sent off, Atletico fell off the hinges and Getafe stole that game, defeating them by 2-1. Real Madrid defeating Rayo Vallecano by 2-1, never in doubt. Atletico Bilbao played out a 1-1 draw with Mallorca, and Real Betis defeating Las Palmas. We did say Real Betis were going to defeat Las Palmas. Real Sociedad, a very surprising one, lost at home to Sevilla, but we did say Sevilla is on the up and up. And Valencia defeating Real Valladolid by 2-1. In the Serie A last week, we saw Como taking on Venezia. That game ended 1-1. Lecce were leading AC Milan by 2-0, and it felt like done and dusted. But then Milan brought on Rafael Leao, and yes, you know, the little magician from Portugal came in and transformed the team, and Milan came back to defeat Lecce by 3-2. In the game, the other side of Milan, Inter Milan were also down to Monza by 2-0, and Inter Milan found their spirits and lifted themselves up and defeated Monza by 3-2. Napoli defeating Fiorentina 2-1. Napoli, yes, they needed to get that victory if they want to keep pace with Inter Milan. Empoli lost at home to Roma. We did say Roma were going to defeat Empoli, and Roma clearly didn't disappoint. Hellas Verona lost at home to another resurgent side. We're talking Bologna. Bologna defeating Hellas Verona by 2-1. Juventus played the tie of the night for me. They played Atlanta, and Atlanta totally blew them away. Our own Ademola Lookman scoring the fourth goal. Yes, you heard that right, fourth goal. They were beaten 4-0. It was a very surprising result. And right now, Thiago Motta himself cannot say his job is safe, because if another disappointing result like this comes to the fore, definitely he would definitely get fired. He might not even make it to the end of the season. Very disappointing one for Juventus and Thiago Motta, because initially when they started, they were finding it difficult to get beat. But now, with this result, I don't think anybody's job is safe. I'm talking even about the players and the management of Juventus. Lazio on Monday played out a 1-1 draw with Udinese, and this weekend we're going to see AC Milan taking on Como. Loads of people want to say Como is a promoted side and AC Milan definitely will get the all needed 3 points. But then again, if you watch Como play, they're a very exciting team to watch, and the likes of Nico Paz in that team would give AC Milan's midfield loads of trouble. Yes, as Fabregas side, kudos to him. He has been doing fantastically well with Como, and it's going to be a tough ask for AC Milan. But if AC Milan can find some form, I want to believe that they have the players who can take the fight to Como and hopefully get all 3 points. But for me, I'm going with a win or a draw for AC Milan. Torino will be up against Empoli. Yes, Torino is another team that is gradually climbing up the Serie A ladder, and I want to believe that Torino will get a win or a draw against Empoli. Venezia will be at home against title chasing Napoli. I want to believe that Napoli should be too strong. Yes, Antonio Conte's side with the likes of Lukaku, the likes of Raspadori, who are finding their form, will definitely be able to defeat Venezia. Bologna will be up against Lazio. That is evenly poised, a must watch. Yes, if you are a neutral, this is the game you want to see. Bologna up against Lazio. I want to believe that over 1.5 should be the result in that one. We're talking goals. Roma up against Cagliari, and definitely I'm going with a draw. No bets. Yes, Roma should be able to get all 3 points against Cagliari. Fiorentina will be up against Juventus. Juventus, another big tie. Will Juventus be able to navigate this one and get all 3 points? Remember, Thiago Motta's job is at stake, and if he loses to Fiorentina, there is no one who can tell me that he might not get the boots. Atlanta will be up against Inter Milan, and that's the tie of the round. Atlanta are on third place in the league, and we want to at least climb up to second if possible. Inter Milan, yes, we want to keep grabs on first place, and we will not want to lose this encounter. This game looks like a draw for me. Moving over to the Bundesliga. Yes, Bundesliga, we did say last week Leverkusen lost at home to Werder Bremen by 2-0. Bayern surprisingly were 2 goals up and allowed Bochum to come from behind and defeat them 3-2. Bayern is excusable because we felt Bayern would have one eye on their Champions League tie against Leverkusen. But then again, what were Leverkusen looking at? Because they lost the first leg 3-0, and after losing 3-0, what were you expecting? Dortmund also lost at home to Augsburg, but we also give Dortmund a pass here because we know Dortmund, they played out a 1-1 draw in the first leg against Lille and needed to win that tie, especially when the tie is going to France. Freiburg played out a goalless draw with Leipzig. Aston Kiel played a 2-2 draw with Stuttgart, and Eintracht Frankfurt lost at home to Union Berlin. You know what that meant? It meant all the big sides, all the irregular big sides in the German Bundesliga, the big sides we know, none of them won over the weekend. And this weekend we're going to see Union Berlin taking on Bayern Munich. I believe Bayern Munich, this is the last game, let's remind you, before the international break. So I do not believe that Bayern Munich will need to rest anyone or will take their foot off the pedal. Yes, they need to fire on all cylinders. So I see Bayern Munich to draw, no bets. Leipzig will be taking on Dortmund. There's Leipzig-Dortmund, another equally poised game. I want to believe that over 1.5 should be what we're gunning for. Bochum will be taking on Frankfurt. Bochum, yes, remember Bochum defeating Bayern Munich last weekend. So they should take that as a morale booster into this game against Frankfurt. Stuttgart will be up against Leverkusen, and for me, all Leverkusen needs to do right now is solidify their place in second position on the Bundesliga table. So I want to believe that they should be able to get the result against Stuttgart. I'm going with them, draw, no bets. Werder Bremen, yes, they will be boosted by defeating Leverkusen at home. They will be taking on Borussia Mönchengladbach. Will they get the result needed? Let's wait this weekend to find out. And lastly, yes, before we leave, we're going to look at Ligue 1. Yes, Ligue 1, Rennes played PSG last weekend, we did say PSG should be able to defeat Lens. PSG did not disappoint. They defeated Rennes by 4 goals to 1. Lille defeated Montpellier at home 1 goal to 0. And Marseille, our pick for last week, were defeated at home by Lens. Nice played Lyon, and Lyon went to Nice and defeating them by 2 goals to 0. Nantes played Strasbourg. Yes, my team. You remember I keep saying this. Strasbourg is one of the most watchable teams in Ligue 1, and they did not disappoint. They defeated Nantes by 1 goal to 0. This weekend, we're going to see Nice taking on Auxerre. Nantes will be up against Lille. Angers will be taking on Monaco. Lens will be up against Rennes. And PSG will be taking on Marseille. Yes, PSG, Marseille, that's the tie of the round. Strasbourg will be at home to Toulouse. Yes, Strasbourg for me should be too strong for Toulouse. And Lyon will be taking on Le Havre. Yes, I want to believe that Lyon should be able to defeat Le Havre. And lastly, we're going to your favorite segment, my favorite segment. We're talking about the prediction corner. Yes, we're talking the top 5 from the big 5. And when we come back from this little break, we'll be taking on our predictions for this weekend. Yeah, welcome back. It's your top 5 from the big 5. Yes, from the EPL, we're going to see Ipswich taking on Nottingham Forest, and I want to believe that Nottingham Forest, we want to give Arsenal a run for their money. For Nottingham Forest to do just that, they need to defeat Ipswich, so I'm going with a 2 draw no bet. In the Serie A, Roma will be taking on Cagliari. Yes, Claudio Ranieri's side definitely should be able to get the results here, so I am also going for Roma draw no bet, so that our prediction here is 1 draw no bet. In the La Liga, Villarreal will be taking on Real Madrid. Yes, Villarreal, yes, we do know they're a boogie team for Real Madrid, but I want to believe that Real Madrid will still be overjoyous, boosted by qualifying for the quarterfinal rounds of the Champions League. I want to believe that being boosted from that game, they will be able to get a result against Villarreal. I am going for Real Madrid draw no bet. 2 draw no bet is my prediction. And in Ligue 1, PSG will be up against Marseille. I do not see anybody defeating PSG, so I go with a 1 draw no bet. In the Bundesliga, we're going to see Stuttgart taking on Bayer Leverkusen. Stuttgart, for me, needs to get a result if they want to keep their hold on second place. And I want to believe that, yes, they're out of the Champions League, nothing to play for here, so definitely they will want to solidify their place in the Bundesliga, so I am going with a Leverkusen 2 draw no bet. Yes, draw no bet for Leverkusen. And on that note, we say thank you for tuning in. It has been Sports 360 with your host Marcus Sifu. It has been a fantastic ride all through, and we want to say keep it locked, same time, same place next week.